BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello. Indeed, ahoy, hoy. I got very distracted by Coleman doing a sexy dance on the video. Hey, how we doing? You know, I'm just overcome by Coleman this week. It's episode 457. I need a shower. I'm Dan. Hello. How are you? It's BRB UK. I'm joined by other people. First of which is the dance sensation that is Coleman. Say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, and the other one who's not a dance sensation at all. It's Tim. No. Say hello.
Hello.
How are you doing? You
He's
alright?
just a tiny dancer.
Oh, no, it's Tiny Tim. You're getting the two confused.
Yeah, Tiny
again.
Tim the dancer.
No, it's not Tiny Tim the dancer. Nothing in the Elton John song is about Tiny Tim. It's there is a tiny dancer. Not all tiny people are called Tim, and not all tiny people are called Tim have to dance. Coleman, come on, stop just pigeonholing people.
I mean, Tiny
the
Tim
Macarena's
wasn't
playing,
particularly
everyone
great
has
at
to dance.
dancing. It wasn't his forte.
Well, the only reason why everyone has to dance to Macarena is just that it's out of just a sense of shame, where we all know if we all do it together, no one's going to be judging anybody.
Sure.
Is that the same for this podcast, Dan?
Yes, that. Us three don't judge each other. There's a lot of people on the internet who do judge us.
Do we not?
However, well...
We judge each other all the time. I'm
it's
judging
true,
you right now.
Yeah.
You're judging me right now, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
3 Dans out of 5.
Wow. Thanks. Yes. By just above average, I think. Anyway.
Captain Average.
That's why we call you Captain Average, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because of
true.
all the judging we do.
Anyway, another week in games. Another week of, crikey, it's hot and I can't game in my man cave because my PC turns my room into a sauna. Yes. Dev, you guys had all of the fun? It's been that good a week, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been a tricky week.
It's been that good a week. It's been I kind of feel like we're in yet another period of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I suppose it is ahead of the big winter releases, isn't it? But
well, the point we're recording is literally a few hours ahead of the PlayStation big presser thing, so that's going to be
indeed it is. So that's
40-minute
probably
live stream that we're missing.
Yeah, I'm trying to temper my expectations because some people are getting a bit carried away with what we could see there this evening, I think.
That's on purpose.
Yeah, all they really need, if they want to have a harsh dose of reality, they just need to look at the way Sony are absolutely ballsing up the whole kind of integrate thing between PS4 and PS5 titles. It's going pretty horrendously badly wrong for them at the moment. In a, dare I say it, Sony-tastic fashion.
I think Mr. Gersman said it best when he pointed out that to get the... Is it £10 over here for the upgrade, or is it $10?
Well, £9 or £10, depending on the game.
Okay, so to get your... In American terms, to get your upgrade from your PlayStation 4 game to your PlayStation 5 game going forward, Sony will charge you $10.
Yeah.
What Jeff Gersman said is, well, if I'm paying the $10 extra already for the PS5 game, then shouldn't I get a free PS4 game?
Yeah. Although I don't really care enough about that because, I don't have a PS4.
I'm not bothered at all, but he's got a point.
Yeah.
Give me free things.
Well, it's not free. I've paid for it.
Well, I know. Give me free things. Give me what I paid for.
But if you're that
that is
buy
under
the
the
PS4
assumption
one and then upgrade, and then you're okay.
I mean, but you know, most people can't even find a bloody PS5 anyway, or they get one of those new rubbish ones that overheat and melt.
Fan fiction consoles.
Conjecture. I'm just going on. I'm just totally just jumping on the trolling bandwagon with that one. But there we go.
I'm seeing a lot of the discourse of a lot of Xbox people are really mad at PlayStation because they want to fight the battles for the fans of PlayStations. But it's the same both sides. Everyone's mad at everyone, and it's a really pointless fanboy flaming war and all that kind of stuff. And it's just very boring. I wish Twitter would stop throwing these things in my timeline because I just don't care about them.
No, right. But I mean, it's still really weird. It still doesn't feel like the kind of... It still feels like the previous gen, and that's because no one can new bloody console for love nor money, but also because of the install base being so small, I don't really feel there's been much of a change.
I also think that Sony's problem at the moment is that they have put most of their eggs, not all of their eggs, but most of their eggs in the basket of AAA video games being what separates us from our competitors. And at the moment, COVID has had the largest effect on AAA development, I would argue, as opposed to indie games and other stuff. I think there's other problems for other size developers, but I think AAA developers have seen the biggest delays and in their games, and at a time when they're learning new consoles and having to learn a new way to do things, that's slowing down production. And I think that's a bigger problem for Sony with the approach that they've gone with in this generation than it is for Xbox.
Well, which slightly surprised me to see there's already rumours of a PS5 Pro or a kind of an uprated Xbox Series S and or X coming as well. I mean, they're already projecting component shortages out till 2023. I honestly cannot see a universe in which either of those things are going to happen anytime soon.
Sony seemed to say that we won't be hearing anything on PSVR 2 from tonight's press conference thing. So
Pointless talking about it.
Well, no, all I'm saying there is, like,
Shut up, past Tim. Future Tim knows all the things. We'll talk to him instead, thanks.
in their plan of action, I'm pretty sure it will go the release of the PS5, which we've seen, and this may have been slowed down a bit, but they will have PSVR 2, and then they will have a revised.
I'm looking
console,
forward to the PS5 Doctor Strange tie-in, where they you can replace the two kind of plastic blades on either side of your console with a case that is Doctor Strange's cape because of the big.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm
amazing.
sure someone's done that by now.
Yeah.
Or the
Elvis
Harry
collar.
Hill tie-in that they haven't yet made good on.
That's the one I'm making.
That's just you wearing a shirt.
Original idea, do not steal. Yeah. It's all fun with PlayStation at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm in that camp where I can just go, I don't care now.
Yeah.
I can just buy the game I want to buy.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, one of the games coming in February, just, 4 days before or 4 days after Destiny 2's next expansion.
Nothing else exists apart from that.
Yeah, Horizon.
Shut your filthy mouth.
Horizon Forbidden West, or for Horizon, it's on the PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah.
But to get ready for that, there has been a patch for Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS5. Well, for PS4 copies on the PS5, which brings the game up to 60 frames per second.
Ooh.
And I decided to reinstall and give that game a go. And do you know, I'm stuck with it a lot better than I have previously.
Hey.
I'm pretty close to completing that game now. That game's really good.
I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I bet you it's pretty spiffy, I do believe is the technical term, in 60 frames a second. I've almost picked it up on PC a couple of times, actually, just because I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I picked it up and played a bit again on the PS5, but not since the patch.
Right.
Is there any sort of noticeable differences, or would you not?
Yes, it plays at 60 frames a second, Tim.
Well,
if only you said that at the top, Coleman. I'll wait.
It plays a lot smoother, and that's really good.
Would you say it plays twice as smooth?
I would say it plays at 60 frames a second.
As opposed to, 30 frames a second?
I think that's around about what they hit. I'm not sure. I can't really remember too well.
So 60 frames a second, you say?
See, because the Horizon Zero Dawn, I was very excited for it, and then ended up in a situation where I couldn't purchase it on day one, and then ended up borrowing Tim's copy on my old base unit PS4, which used to overheat if I played it too long. Stopped playing it at a particularly hard point in the game. Came back to it on the PS4 Pro and went, yes, now I can play this game, and went, oh no, I am very stuck.
What is going on?
Not only am I a ridiculously high level character that I don't know how to fight, but I also don't remember any of the controls, and I can't remember how to relearn them.
I just love how that experience is totally preparing you for old age. Where it's just like you kind of I
played this game yesterday. I remember nothing.
Exactly. distinctly remember having mastered the power of fire before, but now I have no idea what's happening. What's this hob nonsense? Why are my baked beans burning? And why is it always Tuesday?
I have that problem whenever I play Bloodborne. I go back, I was like, I love Bloodborne, and then I reinstall it and go back. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, Bloodborne, however, does not love you.
Yeah, but with Horizon, because it's funny, this is my third attempt at playing this game, and I finally figured out how to play it properly. Because I swear, when I was playing the first time, because the intro, I don't know if you guys remember, the intro to that game is quite long and tedious, and I got very bored. And then they would teach you stuff, and I go, I don't care, just let me play the damn game. I'm bored now. This is going on too long. And then the second time round, I swear I was just aimlessly firing arrows at a big robot until it went down, not fully sure on what I was doing or what all the different weapons did. And now I'm at a point where I have like legendary weapons and different varieties of weapons that you don't start the game with, and different types of arrows and things. So, you know, I can take on this huge behemoth looking thing and fire arrows at the right type. I know what the scanner shows what types of armor the thing has on, and I've got things that can just blast all the armor away to shoot the soft gooey bit that I'm trying to hit with the sharper arrows, and all this kind of stuff, and switch it all on the fly. So it's become a much more entertaining game now. And yeah, I'm pretty close to finishing it. I decided not to really mess around with the side story stuff, just go straight through the main story, maybe do a little bit of polishing off, but can't really be bothered for a platinum, and then go straight into Frozen Wilds, and then I'm ready for the sequel game to come up. The whole point is I've got a bunch of games that I've been meaning to finish, and they have sequels coming up. So once I'm done with this, it's Dying Light, and I'm all good to go.
Welcome to the world of being a grown-up.
Yeah. So I'm actually working my way through a pile of shame, so that's quite fun.
It's especially nice to do when you're getting free shiny PS5 upgrades as well.
Exactly, yeah. That was the whole reason I went back to God of War, is they did the 60 frames a second patch. I bet you that's so good at 60. It is, because they allow you to play the kind of visual fidelity mode while you're playing at 60, and it looks like you could stick that. I think I said it at the time when I revisited the game. You could stick that game with any PS5 game on launch and go, "Yep, that's a PS5 game I'm playing, not a PS4 game that just has a higher frame rate." A little bit less in Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, you can tell it's a few years older, but still, it's a very good game. And it's giving me big Monster Hunter vibes without being as quite technically intrusive as Monster Hunter is, so that's good. But I see why they did the whole Aloy skin that you could unlock on the PS4 version of Monster Hunter World, and tied it all in that way, because it's a really good fit. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's really good. If you picked up the free version over the lockdown and didn't get round to playing it, then definitely play this. If not, it's always on sale for stupidly cheap prices with the DLC thrown in. So yeah, go for that. Do that. It's a thing. And it's got Commander Zavala in it. Yes, he's every time that guy pops up in something, I'm like, who is that voice? I know that voice. I know that voice before I know that actor. Yeah. Even the what 8 seconds he appeared in Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, it's true. Very true, very true. So, Timothy, what have you been playing then, Sunshine?
Well, I haven't played too much this week, as we all said, we were all a little bit busy, but I did get to play an entire game, having said that. Oh, all right, just a little bit. I just thought I played an entire game. Yeah, but it was a short game. Like Cookie Clicker. This was actually the first game I've pre-ordered for quite some time, and the first game I remember pre-ordering on my Switch for a long while, if possibly ever. But yeah, I had a little look at the sort of stuff coming out, and this kind of really jumped out to me. It kind of crossover of two kind of things I like. But it's basically a sci-fi golf game, but it's almost more of a kind of... Sci-fi golf? Keep up then. Well, golf, but sci-fi. Yes, golf in a sci-fi setting. But the basic premise of the story and setup is that Earth has been abandoned and left as a wasteland. Okay. Everyone's moved to Mars, but rich people come back to use Earth as a giant golf course while in spacesuits.
So basically, it's Donald Trump's endgame, is what we're talking about.
Possibly so.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Trump signs, but there is a massive building in the background of one of the levels that says Kofafi, or whatever it was.
Kofefe.
Kofefe, yeah.
Kofefe.
Oh god, that's going back.
But yeah. So it's
You know what it means.
Remember when time was lighter?
There is a little bit of general social commentary in the game. And yeah, to say it's a golf game is almost a little bit misleading. It's definitely golf themed. It's almost a kind of golf themed puzzle game almost. Like, basically, to do your golf shots, you get control of angle and trajectory basically by just pulling the left stick away from where you are, basically. So if you want to just kind of putt on the ground, you just pull it out horizontally and it will go as far as you pull it, almost kind of thing. To a limit, obviously, but then
can I just say how proud of myself I'm not caving to any double entendres here. Do continue.
Yeah,
It's fine. Can I just say that I'm pretty sure if I know Dan, he's doing the same with me, and in his head he's trying to work out sci-fi golf puns.
Right.
And I think I have one.
Ooh,
Bunk.
Cyberpunk.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I mean, Cyberbunker, maybe.
Well, that's why I said Cyberbunk, and then you'd have to brackets. Oh, you'd have to brackets. So it's
ER. But yeah,
got the title name.
But you also control the height of the shot, or, the distance it travels upwards. So if you want a shot that is going to get backspin, you have to be doing a shot that's going upwards a lot, basically. And if you want a shot that's got a bit more topspin, then you're kind of making sure that it's lower to the ground. And yeah, like it's kind of simple and effective. It doesn't play quite like any other golf game. That's why I say it's almost more of a golf puzzle game. And you're kind of using golf shots to find the critical path through the level to then get to the hole and hole out to finish the hole. Most of the hole, like a few of the early holes are only like 4 or 5 shots type of thing, but they soon ramp up to like 7, 8, 18 holes and stuff like that.
18 holes?
18 stroke holes.
Stroke holes?
What?
See, trying to avoid things that are going to set you two off is not easy with golf, basically.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you get a black hole in one?
No. There is one where you can get a hole in one, but there are a lot of levels where you're like going out of the way, around the way, to find a sneakier path that will get you somewhere. So there's lots of like pipes that you can hop into that will then pop the ball out somewhere else in the level. There's lifts that if you play into the lift, then the lift will go up with you and the ball in it, sort of thing. And then, yeah, there's other like escalators and travelator type things and stuff that you can use to get on and move around throughout the level without having to do like sort of golf shots. And there's usually, but not always, but there's usually like a sneaky fast path through the level, basically. And yeah, I think there's 35 holes in total. There's I said there's a bit of social commentary, there's a bit of story to the game as well, and it's odd enough that I'm going to say I'm deliberately avoiding like some story beats and some stuff that's going on there, like who you are and what's going on a bit and stuff like that. But yeah, like it's a game that you would think from the description would be a good second screen game and not necessarily something that demands your attention. But some of the social commentary and some of the stuff, although subtitled, generally comes through a radio station, Wasteland radio station type thing, that's talking
Wasteland
about
radio,
the state of the universe, and kind of gives you some background stuff, but also plays some just banging music that goes along with some of the stuff that you're doing in the levels and stuff as well.
Like what? EMF?
It's generally all electronic dance music stuff, but and particularly written for the game by someone that I've never heard of before, but seems to be musically inclined. But yeah, like I really quite like the soundtrack and really quite like the way they kind of integrated it and stuff. And as I said, the only problem with that is it it takes what would possibly be a good second screen game and makes it not so. Like, it kind of demands a bit more of your attention. But yeah, the soundtrack's pretty good, and the level design and stuff, the kind of environmental storytelling, to use the in term phrase. But yeah, like, it is quite good and adds a nice level of depth and richness to it, to the point where I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this while watching something else. I am going to play this just by itself, type of thing. And yeah, like, it's only, I think I got it slightly cheaper because I pre-ordered it, but it's around £7 or so, basically. Probably takes about 4 hours to play through the game the first time, I would say, or thereabouts. Depending on, you know, how good you are and how quickly you get through some of the holes, and some of them are really tricky.
I mean, you kind of gloss straight through the price there, but
By Grabthar's hammer, what a
For
savings!
£7, not bad. And I also went back after I'd completed all 35 levels just to try and get a lower overall score. I think I finished on a score of -72, and then got to a score of -95, I think it was in the end. But yeah, like, there's some holes that, like, say the 18, like the ones that take 18 strokes, and you can actually do it in 5, for instance, sort of thing. So you can really, like, find some really quick routes through the level. But sometimes some of those shots are that are the quick routes are really quite risky.
right.
There's quite not a very instant reset, but there's an easy-ish reset, and then you can move through the levels once you've gone through all of them, or you can go back through the levels you've already completed at any time, basically. And yeah, like, it's, as I said, it's a bit interesting. I kind of like the sci-fi setting and the golf type thing. I kind of expected more of a golf game almost, but it's more of a golf themed game, as I said. But yeah, no less enjoyable, and I recommend it. As I said, I bought it myself. I was pleased with the purchase for, I think, just under £7, but anything around that amount, and you'll get some enjoyment out of it. The only thing is, to reset the game that you've played through, you'll have to lose your overall score. It could do with some way of, like, retaining that score in game and possibly having, like, an online leaderboard. And then you could have a thing where you could play through all 35 levels in one go and have an online leaderboard for that, possibly, and that might give it a bit more longevity, maybe. But actually, just playing through the game and the experience itself, it was really good fun, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I liked it.
I mean, I think the obvious thing what you're forgetting here is blade putter.
What have you been?
Blade putter.
Blade putter.
Blade putter? Really?
Blade putter.
Really?
What have you come up with, Dan?
Really?
Come on.
I mean, I was trying to work out something. Do you know why there's so many golf injuries in space?
Go on then.
Because in space, no one can hear you scream 4! Because 4, so you're going to get no?
I mean, yeah.
You got any more?
Well, have you got any more? Have you got any more? Have you got any more, Coleman?
No, I just got the blade putter one, and I started laughing to myself.
There you go.
Good.
But there's one other game.
Iron Man.
Huh?
That's not a sci-fi.
9 Iron Man? That's
Iron Man's kind of sci-fi. 9 Iron Giant, then. How's that?
9 Iron Giant? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No?
I've got no more failed noises.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
There's already been a massive robot golf thing. What was that called?
Supermassive Robot Golf or something like that.
Something like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
great. One of my favourite games of all time.
Or something for golf.
There's also one other game that both Dan and I have been playing a little bit of this week as well.
And my old memory is remind me of something I attempted to play. But do yours. do this one first, Tim.
Something you attempted to play.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, we've both been playing a bit of Crown Trick by Team 17. But yeah, it's a Game Pass game, came out on Game Pass. I've only played like an hour and a half of it or so. If I'm being a bit reductive and a bit possibly
Usually
a bit
are.
unfair, it felt to me, and possibly being played in the shadow of having played this recently, it felt a little bit like a poor man's Hades.
Yeah.
But it does have its own unique mechanic, which I can see having interesting implications. I've seen things in similar.
Wow,
sort of stuff,
that's
but not
upselling
quite
it.
But
Interesting thing that
basically,
has interesting implications.
Yeah.
Implications for
Sounds interesting.
well, combat and puzzle solving, basically. But things within the environment, enemies being one of those things, but also blocks that block your path being another one, and that's about the limit of what I've seen so far.
Right.
But those things will move in the environment only when you move.
So it's a bit like
When
Super
you
Hot.
move out, move.
Move just like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got that Super Hot vibe to it. When
Yes.
you take an action, everything else takes an action.
Yes. But the world is divided up into chess square like grids, basically. But you are then going throughout dungeons from room to room. As I said, other than that, it's got a few other things that feel very familiar to the point of reminding me a bit too much constantly of Hades. Basically, you can pick up different weapons at the beginning, although there's a slight difference in that. There's usually I think two different weapons. And it's a roguelike where you're attempting to get out of these dungeons. There's some element where you're kind of seem to be going to sleep to go into the realm of nightmares, I believe it is.
Because you've got to be asleep to have nightmares, mate.
Sounds a bit Bloodborne, to be honest, if you ask me.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I mean, all right. I came away going, I'm glad I got to see its mechanic and that it plays the way it plays, and I can kind of see how that would be interesting, but at the same time I came away thinking I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
Do you know what? I played about as much of it as you have, Tim, but my immediate thought was, wow, this would be a great iOS or Android game. It's a nice enough diversion. It's ultimately a bit formulaic. It's got a really nice art style, though. I will give it that.
Yeah, I like the way it looks.
Very nice art style.
And as I said, I can see how there'd be interesting implications for that gameplay. I'm not sure I've seen the most interesting use of that so far, basically.
Implications is a really sinister way to describe something like that.
Because of the implication.
Implications. You can blast other people's balls right off.
Okay. But yeah, it's a Game Pass game, so a lot of people probably have access to it. If you do, I suggest having a look at it and seeing if it tickles your fancy.
Hey, do you know what else? Talking of fancies being tickled.
Yes.
I tried another. Well, I tried to try another Game Pass.
What did you try? Yeah.
I tried to try.
You tried
Dabbled.
to try.
I tried to try because I knew you'd be straight up asking me about this. I noticed Surgeon Simulator 2 was available.
Right.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That's definitely your area of expertise, kind of.
It is.
Did you try that on the Xbox?
I did try that on the Xbox.
That is a game that needs a mouse.
It's a game that I tried to try on the Xbox, but despite my super protected drive, which, as we all know, it's super protected,
drive.
It turns out that I just don't have the patience to wait 15 minutes through 15 minutes of loading screens anymore.
Ooh.
It has horrendous loading times for no good reason whatsoever. And literally it's the old loading, and here's another loading screen.
Yeah.
And here's another loading screen. So much so that I actually haven't played the game properly because I cannot be asked to wait around 15 minutes.
Now, if I remember rightly, that's the Surgeon Simulator where they added in a multiplayer mode that's actually meant to be really fun. But I'm assuming that will add to the loading.
Yep. Well, exactly. And people are complaining about it needing a constant internet connection. It looks like it could be good fun, but it's currently sitting at an average rating of 1.3 out of 5.
Okay.
On Game Pass. If they fix it, I'll give it a try. But
yeah,
it's great. It's great that they're trying to emulate NHS waiting times, but really, it's not on. It's not on.
Do you know, I know you haven't started playing, but do you know if that's PC Game Pass as well as Xbox Game Pass?
Yes, it is PC Game Pass as well.
Do you know if that's cross-play?
Let me click a thing and I shall tell you.
Because I may have to play that on PC. I don't think I can play that on the controller again.
Let's say yes.
Sure, why not? I still have Vietnam-style flashbacks about trying to play the Switch port of Surgeon Simulator at an event. It's like, this is horrible and everyone's watching and there's a camera on me and I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing that leads me to believe that you cannot do crossplay between PC and Xbox.
Okay. Let's say possibly, maybe.
Tell you what, let's make that our homework.
Sure.
Yep.
Get down on it.
Tim, it looks like you might have reviewed this game because it says, I like how the confirm and cancel buttons are uniquely styled. The text is interesting and the cancel button takes you straight off the screen and back to your desktop.
It's not my fault that other people are also interested in UI and how that impacts how you interact with the game.
You and I must make an impact.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I actually thought a very interesting article today, which I started reading and need to delve deeper into, but about...
Can I just say, that sounds great, Tim. Thank you.
Fonts in video games, which is something that, particularly interests me.
No, I have to say, I'm a big stickler for UI and decent UI design, well thought out UI design. I do get angry at bad UI.
I still get angry whenever I play a console game and...
Whenever you play a console game.
Well, it goes, hey, navigate this menu using your thumbstick like it was a mouse.
You mean like Destiny does?
No, Destiny actually... Well...
Destiny was the first one to anger me, mainly because Destiny wasn't available on PC, and they went, here's clearly a mouse UI.
No, I like the way Dan instantly went, he said shit about Destiny, I'm in defense mode. Oh, no, I can't defend now.
Yeah, no, God. You're right. I tried. Yeah. I failed.
The other thing I was going to say is the other thing I've played this week briefly is just a bit more of the Iki Island expansion for Ghost of Tsushima, which has continued to be very good as well. Basically,
is it good?
How them fluffy foxes?
Foxes and cats and deers.
Nice.
Oh my. And jewels, and some cool jewels, and lots of...
Why are jewels fluffy? Jewels shouldn't be fluffy.
No.
Someone sold you some bad jewels.
Separate subject, cool jewels.
But we're talking about... What?
Dueling with people, and that being cool.
Jewels is it?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Jewels with a D, not J.
Yes.
I see.
And
did you think you would
good
jewels?
sword fights. And
I thought you said jewels.
A lot of people now that kind of will change what weapon they're using while fighting you, and you think, and that changes the fighting style that you need to fight them back with, in case you.
Can I just for those of you who are on video, I think you need a replay of that. Can you just show us your charades-like action for fighting again, Tim, please?
No,
please. I want to see
I'm not even sure what I did.
Do it. Do it.
It was an automated thing, not something I can do on command.
I believe that's my approximation of it.
Good. But basically, they kind of change weapons on the fly while you're fighting them, and you can kind of actually see them like pull out another weapon, and so that kind of you don't need to look for another visual clue that you need to switch stances and stuff. So
them pulling out their weapon. Is the cue to tell you that they are pulling out their weapon?
Yes. Right.
Good. Glad we cleared that up. Thanks,
switch
Tim.
Stances so that you can combat them effectively, Dan. But like as I said, that just continues to be really good. I'm now
Is that a mallet
like 90 hours into the game, I think. So that's a good 20 hours of the bonus content so far. So
nice.
Been enjoying that.
I'm glad you are enjoying Iki Island, and I'm sure I will get to it in about a year when I do my continuing the backlog of games I haven't finished.
I look forward to playing it in 2026 when I finally buy a PlayStation 5.
When PS5s hit store shelves.
Yep.
Should we talk about some news?
Let's do some news.
Great. So I think everyone and their mother knows about this one already, but Tripwire. So
yep.
You may have heard this one doing the rounds, but the CEO of Tripwire, John
Be careful,
Gibson.
don't trip yourself up on the tripwire. Is the lesson here?
I'm going to put my hands up and say I don't fully know how I feel about this, but John Gibson put out a tweet basically sharing his pro-life statements, which I'm not going to judge people based on political beliefs and what have you. I am not that way inclined. I do not feel, I'm not a pro-lifer or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everyone should have free right to abortions and what have you. I don't know how I feel about people losing their jobs for expressing their opinions. But at the same time, I think if you're a CEO of a major company, pick your battles, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, Coleman, you work like I do for a large company. And
no one knows this.
No, what? All right, you work for
His Majesty's Secret Service,
a
is
faceless
not really
government
organisation
like I do.
I work behind the till in a petrol station.
Yes, you do, correct.
Yeah.
But behind that till, you're advised not to actively, you basically try and disengage with social media is the advice you're given.
Exactly.
And always think about what you're going to put. And, just because you have a social media account does not necessarily mean that you are compelled to voice your opinion on stuff. Think sometimes.
Yeah. I'm
not saying freedom of speech, but I'm just saying take a moment to think before you hit the send button how it could be construed.
Yeah, also writing in your bio, my opinions are my own, doesn't always help you.
Yeah.
But also, I think he made it a worse situation for himself by saying that he was deliberately making this statement as a CEO of a games company.
Yeah, that's probably where probably where he put his foot in his mouth. And it's funny as well because he literally started a tweet as I might write a tweet of something not of this nature, but if I was to write something political, I might go, well, because of what I do, I don't usually write something political, but here's the thing that's now going to ruin my career.
Yep.
Anyway, following this, John Gibson has to step down as CEO. There is an interim CEO that's been put in his place. And Tripwire have had to put out a big old statement on their website saying, look, we don't reflect his views. No, none of our staff reflect his views. Alan Wilson, who kind of co-founded Tripwire, he'll be taking his place in the short term. And Alan and us will all be working together to make sure that we don't have these opinions and other sensitive subjects.
Yeah, the one thing that in reporting that I've seen, I haven't seen any mention of the fact that he'll be stepping down from those positions, but will he still long-term be financially benefiting from his position with the company? That's what I don't know.
Well, I'd imagine he probably holds stocks and shares in it. So
yeah, and obviously, he's probably got a right to do that. But then that does make the whole situation a little bit more... Yeah, a little bit more tricky. Like, if he's now essentially, he's written that tweet, is he now getting to sit at home and not do work for the same amount of money? I'm imagining that's not entirely the case, but...
I mean, I think we're conflating a couple of things, getting a couple of things mixed up together there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you said, Commons, right. I mean, I know, it's
because I said it.
I know, right? I mean, personally, I find the man's views, and but by that I mean John Gibson, I find his views abhorrent and something I, on a very deep level, don't agree with. If for no other reason, then I think everyone, as you say, Coleman, should have the right to decide what goes on with their own body.
Yeah,
and I do not
be a basic human right. Basically.
I do not have the requisite anatomy to have an opinion beyond that. Quite frankly, that's. I mean, I will support free speech, free determination, everything like that. I will always do that. But
we are ovaries without ovaries.
Yeah, I mean, you do make the right point, though, which is we do live in a society which allows for free speech. And part of free speech is that not everyone's going to say something that you agree with.
Yeah.
And is
but people
it
are also free to react to that speech. Like,
they
it's not
are
cancel culture; it's consequences culture.
No, absolutely. But I do, and I completely agree with you, Tim. But I do think that this is something that's going to become become an increasing challenge over the coming years is that can you actually state an opinion publicly on anything anymore?
Well, it's not just that, and I don't
Maybe
want
we
to
should edit this bit out.
No, it's fine.
I think
it's our own opinions. Like the thing that, and I don't want to get into a whole political debate and all that, the state of the internet and what have you.
There we go.
I don't like using terms like woke or council culture and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think a lot of them are kind of just drummed up for press to scare or further people into the right kind of mindset to get hate clicks and what have you. So I don't really fall into that stuff. It is just
click hate, if you will.
Click hate, yes. It's more a kind of state of there are things that are said that were acceptable even say 2-3 years ago that aren't acceptable now, and that can get you in trouble for past tweets, even if you went, oh, I said something that I don't agree with on this modern day, and I went back. I mean, see the whole James Gunn thing, he made some jokes, deleted them. He went, oh, I work for Disney now. I probably shouldn't have said those jokes. I'm going to go back and retroactively delete my tweets. And then people used the Wayback Machine to pull their deleted tweets out and then start a whole hate campaign against him to get him to lose his job, which he was then rehired for. But, stuff like that scares me a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I try on my kind of point, a lot of this stuff that does get thrown about and bandied about, I don't agree with the things that people get deplatformed for or anything like that at all. I'm just always a bit wary of how it happens.
I also don't like jumping on dogpiling people when they're clearly having a bad day because of something stupid they said on social media, basically. I mean, it does seem that there's a overwhelming need to kind of show that you don't like that behavior, so you have to voice that opinion as well. And there are things that are wrong and there are things that are worth calling out and holding up and doing that sort of thing. But when that becomes a bit too much, a bit too often, most people will start to just not listen to anything, even when should be something that they should be listening to, basically.
I mean, we're going a bit off on a tangent.
Anyway,
we're going a bit off on a tangent, but I do think it's a very fine line. I mean, as you say, there are some things that are so blatantly abhorrent, and it's right to call them out as abhorrent. However, I do think, yes, people are going to have a different opinion to you on some things. That's normal. That's okay. Yeah. And yes, they may be quite extreme differences of opinion, but acknowledging that people have different opinions is part of life.
Yes.
And, it should enable discussion. It's in that view, in your view, that person is wrong. But in their view, you are wrong. And, I think you've always got to be appreciative of and try and understand the other side's views and arguments and how they got to that place. Because I think that is key, not just knee-jerk reaction saying, I don't agree with you, therefore...
Yes, there is a big lack of that in internet discourse and general kind of behaviour and everything else. But as I said, I think this was a inevitable result of what he said. Whether you agree with what he said or not, I don't think in the position that he's in, he can be making those sorts of statements. And there are reasons why other people in those positions don't make those sorts of statements, because they want to keep their jobs. So, I think the problem is when you're representing a lot of other people as well, and therefore their opinion doesn't necessarily align with yours, and it looks like as head of the company you are speaking for everyone at that company, basically.
Well, and also if you're an employee at that company, you're thinking, wow, is that what my boss thinks? What does that mean for my personal rights?
I guess so.
Yeah, but what would happen if any employee of that company had made a similar statement and a similar amount of fuss had been made? Like, probably would have just fired them, I mean, it's not... He got a better deal than a low-level employee making a similar sort of mistake.
I think I'm coming to the realisation that the three of us aren't going to solve this.
What?
This conundrum.
But we're right, damn it.
I will say, just kind of on my last voice on this, Everything that kind of happens, I will say that the three of us, being late 30 to 40-year-olds, we are not the target
Look at you showing
audience.
off being late 30s.
We are, none of us are the target audience for anything in this world anymore.
No.
We've got to be like 13 to 25 now, so we get no say.
We're in that no man's land
it's okay.
before we get to start selling us incontinence products. Put it that way.
I don't jump in on this kind of stuff. I will say that like the whole thing in Texas, I don't agree with, and like the whole reasoning for this argument, it's all fine. I just I get confused with some of this stuff. I'm a doddering old man who doesn't know his way in the world these days. I just want to play some video games.
I just don't understand why it's okay to think you have a God-given right to impose your views and your beliefs on another human being, and for them to expect them just to suck it up.
I used to like, jumping on turtles and collecting mushrooms or rings or whatever. And now I've got to worry that bloody a site I used to read doesn't actually put a preview out for a game, but decides to insult all the other video game sites that wrote a preview for a game. Stuff like this we have to take into account now. The internet has become a very odd place. Anyway, PlayStation, they bought a new studio.
Have they?
Yeah, they bought Firespite, which is really interesting because Firespite was formed by members of Sony Liverpool after they closed in 2012.
Right, so they've just bought them back again. Yeah, glad that worked out for them.
Snake eating the tail. But,
yes, this is exactly what I thought. I nearly actually tweeted them that image as they announced the fact that they bought it, basically. But cool. It kind of makes sense. Like, there's a lot of rumours. And this may be common knowledge by the time this podcast comes out, but there's a lot of rumours that there might be a new Wipeout on the way, basically.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And if that's something they're doing, then that'd be quite cool. I mean, Firesprite, I think the last thing they made was The Persistence, which was a VR game that I think's now come out in non-VR as well.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a game I bought because I really liked the demo and then have never played the game.
That's quite standard for you, Tim.
But yeah,
spend that money.
I'd be interested to see if they're
it's an investment, Coleman.
Still, if they're still planning on sticking with PSVR, and if that's why Sony's bought them for that purpose, and whether because the last Wipeout release was a redone one in PSVR as well, basically. So I wonder. I don't know if they had any.
The main thing was it was updated for PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
And then they went, and a VR thing as well. You can play it in first person in VR. But
and it's really good in VR. So I'm kind of hoping that Wipeout might be something that comes out with
here's some new levels from
launch.
The PSP version of the game and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's pretty
I'm hoping
cool.
we might get a new Wipeout for the launch of PSVR 2 because that'd be quite cool. If
they
did it in non-VR and
equals instant vomit.
It was so good. Like,
it
the last
works
one
out
was
pretty
really
well.
good.
Yeah. But there are 250 plus people strong now, that studio.
I didn't realise they were that big, to be honest. I mean, but the games they make seem like a fair sized game and everything. I'm not knocking them for that, but I just didn't realise the studio was that large.
Perhaps it's
might have just ramped up.
It was just far away rather than small, Tim.
I think they may have ramped up for whatever they've got they're about to announce, possibly, and that would make sense if it is something big like Wipeout. So yeah.
Hey chaps, you want to hear some other good news?
Yes, and this is one I'm very excited for.
I finally found a job where I have the required skills for it. Passion for Destiny, ideally having spent hundreds of hours playing Destiny the game and exploring its world. Come on Bungie, employ me now.
Does it require multiple doctorates as well, though, Dan?
No, sadly not.
So you're slightly overqualified then?
Oh, but I haven't been credited on multiple films with experience in animation, scripted television development. Coleman, how am I ever going to become the senior executive development for film, TV, and transmedia for Destiny?
That does sound like a cool title, though. They might just hire you on the basis of you're an uber Destiny fan.
Thank you.
We tend to call you Dr. Destiny Dan in the past, so that very well could be your Dr. Destiny, a project by Dr. Destiny Dan. That could be the new.
Yeah, that won't make me look like
a Kojima production
bell end at all. That totally won't make me look like a bell end, Coleman. Thank you.
Well, on the start of Metal Gear Solid 5, and there's like 20 million credits for Hideo Kojima. That could be you, but just pop up Dr. Destiny Dan all the time.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Dr. Destiny Dan.
Bungie is hiring for a senior executive who will, as you said, the qualifications you've just rattled off, Dan, but it seems that this will include projects which haven't been confirmed, but Destiny for maybe films, TV shows, graphic novels. I would really like a Destiny film or a TV show. I'd be totally on board for that.
They seem to be behind the curve with that. Do you think that was because they were distracted with all the Activision stuff and getting away from them?
Not being part of Activision anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they've probably got a lot more creative freedom to do that. And, you know, the comment that you're doubtless going to make is surely this is just Bungie doubling down on not putting the story of the game in the game, which I know you're probably wanting to say, Tim.
That's the greatest thing about podcasting with each other for so long, Dan. We don't even need to make that reference anymore. You knew we were going to do it, and you headed us off at the pass.
It's better I get out ahead of it. I mean, my favourite thing about this is that there is such thing called the Destiny Universe Leadership Team, which is DOLT. I like the fact that DOLT is clearly the acronym for that. But no, I mean, Destiny, they've been hinting that it's going to go a lot more transmedia, and I think with the recent announcement, they possibly, who knows? They haven't had a third rubbish one yet. I think that they've been very much making noises about, you know, there's 3 more big game expansions, but the universe will continue on. So I think it's gonna just be a universe in which probably transmedia comic books, short films.
We're going to have the
short
Tale
series.
of Dan.
I very much doubt that.
And they're just going to have a comic about everything you've done with your character. There'll be like 6 pages of you just standing and crouching in corners and things. And
dancing. I love it. I love the dancing.
Good dance.
I always like this idea, but it's always executed poorly. Like I said, The Matrix, but they did when they were recording the 2 Matrix sequels back to back, they went, hey, also the Animatrix, also this video game.
But to be fair, the Animatrix was probably better than both of the sequels. So
the Animatrix was the best thing that came out of that.
Yeah.
And they did transmedia stuff. I think, was it Dark Horse did...
Yeah, comics.
Bunch of tie-ins.
Yeah, but the whole point was the comics were meant to tie into this sequel that was coming. The video game, was it Enter the Matrix? The one that had and they filmed the scenes for that while they were filming the sequel, and have those characters in the sequel that appear for about 5 minutes before they get killed.
Yeah.
And the Animatrix bases on there's a character in the Animatrix that is then in the films, you know, that kind of stuff. And I always like this idea, but it never quite works out. But I like the idea of a Destiny media in some form that doesn't necessarily tie into the games, but because the thing that sold me on the idea of Destiny was the initial TV ads, the TV spots where they did the free live action Fireteam characters with their ghost, and they're playing the music and shooting a bunch of
aliens in the face.
Yeah, the things on the moon.
Hive.
I forgot their name. Thank you. The Hive. They're shooting the Hive, and it looked all cool, and that sold me on the playing a game, something that contained no game footage.
Yeah, I think we're much more likely to see an anime ahead of a full sort of Netflix.
On Netflix.
Dude,
Netflix
this stuff is
is
certainly on its way to Netflix.
But I think that's more likely than live action. Although I do wonder if stuff like The Witcher being successful and that seemingly, you know, having a good pull, that one might open the door for other live action.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens with The Last of Us.
Mm.
I mean, I think they're kind of really. I think they're kind of doubling down on, you know, what makes a good guy, what makes a bad guy, and the whole ambiguity of that. So I'd imagine there's going to be lots of stories to tell, or even perhaps, you know, the events leading up to the game of when Destiny kind of picked off, you know. Thank you, Coleman.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how
the fall of the golden age, when the kind of it all went to crap, that kind of stuff.
How the Traveller got to Earth and that sort of thing. The Traveller?
Origin story of the Traveller.
Yeah. You kind of know that, though, don't you? Know?
It started off as a tiny little ball. Then it grew over a series of millennia to the size of a golf ball, and then over millions of years, it became the size of a snooker ball.
Who's the weekly marketplace guy? Squidface.
Face.
Yeah, I want Zer's backstory.
being terrorized by people wielding deep fryers and threatening to make calamari.
Basically like the TV show Porn Stars, but it's just Zer selling stuff.
Hello, Dave. I've always got this image. Zer does have a certain Papa Lazarou about him.
I always get the...
Would you like to buy some pigs?
It's the Resident Evil marketplace guy. What are you buying? What are you selling? I always get that vibe from him. Anyway, that's all the news we got this week. Just throwing one of them in there.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're nearly done then, aren't we, chaps?
Yeah, we might as well get out of here.
Yeah, let's do that. Any updates from anybody on anything?
I realised I missed a gosh thing. I kept on meaning to check if it was actually happening at the time, and then I'm afraid we missed it. But, yes. But, yeah, Racing CS. Oh, see, I kept on meaning to check because I kept on forgetting what it was, and then I checked today, and I've still forgotten. But Racing CR7, I think it is. I think it's a mobile game, I think.
Right.
Racing Circumcision.
Racing Circumcision? What?
Racing Circumcision. That's not a good idea. Like, even in Surgeon Simulator, that's a bad plan.
That is not something you want to rush either.
No.
You know what I mean? It could be.
Speedrun circumcisions.
I'll have to look out for next week because I think we've missed it anyway. But yeah, I'll come back with some actual details on that. But there was one thing I missed while it was going on. But hey.
I can't wait.
But yeah, anyone doesn't know, Geek Out for Gosh is a campaign where you can help raise money by streaming some video games or sponsoring someone else that is doing so. There are more details on Great Ormond Street Hospital, the Gosh part of that. They're gosh.org or on their social media channels, Geek Out for Gosh, and number 4 being in the 4. Yeah, so yeah, go seek out some details on that. And if you raise £250 or more, you can get yourself an exclusive insert coin, t-shirt, and pin.
There you go.
See?
You didn't say badge.
Didn't say badge this week. You said it for me, Coleman. But yeah, t-shirt and pin, and you can win that just by raising £250 for a great organisation to be raising money for, Great Ormond Street. So, yeah, good time to be raising money for hospitals. Never a bad time to be raising money for children's hospitals. So please do so.
Absolutely.
Never record my bell in. No.
No. Oh, Timothy Hibbs, you big steaming pillock.
Love you, Coleman.
Thank you.
With your missing dick.
Right.
Just imagine Coleman sitting there, laying out, just cutting things out.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
Stitch them all together like some...
For the other 6 hours, 6
weird
days and
audio
23 hours of the week, he's just there pressing buttons, pretending to have
Buffalo Bill
conversations
thing,
with us
whatever
two.
his name was.
Hold on. I think I've got one.
Silence
What do you mean
of
with
the
a
Lamb
missy
style
dick?
stitching audio together.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Please stop it, Master.
weird skin thing.
I have a treasure trove of wonders in my drawer here. Yep, I do.
What do you mean with an avocado?
We haven't had an
Keith?
object from
Please
your
stop
office
it,
for some time,
Master.
Dan. Hello.
What would you like, Timothy? I've got options.
I would like you to go with the most boring object you can find in your office.
All right.
Basically,
It's a doozy.
yep.
You
Not
can
even
like
sure what a
blast
doozy
other
is.
people's balls. It's pretty good. It is a vernier caliper.
Okay.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
I don't think that can't be the most boring object in your thing. That's not that boring. That does
Well,
exciting
a vernier
things.
caliper.
Like measure
A
small
vernier
stuff.
caliper is pretty tedious.
Okay. I mean,
I've got.
I would think like just a normal ruler would be more boring than that, or a pencil.
A cable tie.
Okay,
A
yeah, there
really
you go.
old Samsung Galaxy.
No,
What else we got?
I don't think you're going to top a cable tie, Dan. That'll do for this week. We
I got
also
it.
had the guest calipers, but they were exciting. Too
the
exciting.
most boring thing in my room here A peg.
Ooh.
No, don't say, oh, it's boring, Tim.
A pack of 3M command strips.
I mean, you can have an exciting time hanging things up with them, Dan. That's like a good hour, possibly plus, of entertainment there.
I could do two things. Like, I could do the most exciting thing, which is, ooh, strange coin. And then the most boring thing, which is, ooh, washing basket.
Okay, that's pretty boring. There's not
I
much
think
left in this room.
that's good for the...
I've
We've
got
hit the
brawl
hour now.
plugs.
We can
I've
stop.
got brawl plugs as well, Tim. They're
Yeah?
quite exciting.
Ooh.
Dan, we've hit the hour.
Have
Yeah,
we?
we're good.
Yeah, we can stop
Can
now.
I? You say I can stop vamping for time by
Yeah, you can
grabbing
free us
mean,
from our
considering
weird tedium.
You wanted to do a short show. We really didn't need to, but you know.
Vertigo Caliper.
More plugs!
It's your boy showing you how to hang some
What a savings.
showing you how to hang some sick shit off your plant the blood. Vertigo Caliper in your face.
I'd buy that for $1.
I think we're going to have to restrict your use of soundboard in future weeks, Coleman.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to restrict your use of it in about 2.5 weeks specifically.
PlayStation.
Right, that's enough. I've had enough fun in my drawers now.
Yep.
So let's go.
Let's call that.
Okay, Coleman, stop it.
Before Coleman goes
Jesus.
through the whole soundboard.
Yeah. You know,
Rewind.
this is what it would be. Do you know
Do it
what?
again.
This reminds me of if Stephen Hawking, God rest his soul, had Tourette's. This is essentially what it would be.
Speaking of Stephen Hawking.
No, you didn't just call Stephen Hawking a transformer. No, you didn't. That's not how we're going to end the show. That didn't happen, Coleman. So that couldn't have happened. So it didn't happen. That's fine.
Right, let's stop goading cancel culture.
Autobots, move out.
Yeah.
You, see, why did you change it from rollout when rollout would have made more sense anyway?
Hey. Right, let's go. We're going to go now. Make sure you go to, if you want more of this nonsense, www.BigRedBarel.com, Facebook.com/BigRedBarel, Twitter.com/BigRedBarel, and if you go to BigRedBarel.com, you'll find a nice little linky poo that takes us straight to, collectively, the wondrous environs of our Discord.
Stop
where you
using a
can say hello.
soundboard with me, Coleman.
Keep going.
No.
Okay.
Get off of my land!
There we go. Right. We're gonna go to all those places on the internet. We'll
Yeah.
be there.
Facebook.com
Thank you.
and Twitter.com/BigRedBarel and on YouTube,
I just said all that.
Big Red Barrel TV.
Yeah, but he was
Damn it.
talking over you, so you couldn't hit.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Big old monocles.
Thank you for listening to this utter
Basically.
car crash of a thing.
How have we forgotten? How have we got significantly worse at podcasting after 457 plus episodes?
I think it might be the soundboard.
Basically, yes. I agree with you, Coleman.
Well, Coleman's still the new kid around here. I'll blame him. Bloody millennials. Right. All that's left is for us to thank you for listening to this utter car crash. I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I've been a soundboard.
Yeah, you have.
Yes, you have.
All right.
Never record my belly.
Thank you ever so much for downloading us. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Something's gone wrong.
Two astronauts argued about art. That is an international relation. Two astronauts argued. Two astronauts argued about art. That is an international relation. Two astronauts.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
I played a puzzle game, and this puzzle game is called Your Cat Has Knocked a Cup of Coffee into Your Xbox Series X, which has promptly drunk all of it, and now you've got to do something about it before it blows itself up. So it's an amazing, high